Hi everyone, welcome to our biology class. Today we have to finish the chapter. A very small part of this chapter is only pending. In the last class we discussed about ear and body balancing and also the tongue, how it is helping for the process of detecting the taste. Such parts were discussed in the last class. Now the next part that we have to discuss is the detection of smell with the help of nose. Smell detection. We know the organ for the detection of the smell is what? Nose. Okay. And there is a special receptor where in the nose for detecting the smell, that is called olfactory receptor. Olfactory receptor. So olfactory receptor in the nose help to the process of what? Process of detection of smell. Olfactory receptors. Then how it is happening or how it is functioning? You know, the components or the substance responsible for the smell, that is what is called aromatic particles. The substance responsible for the smell is called aromatic particles. This aromatic particle diffuse in the air or mixed with air. Sure, no? And that aromatic particle will enter into our nostrils through what? Through the air when we breathe. When we breathe air, the aromatic components will enter into the nostrils. Nostrils means to the nose. Then what will happen? You know, after entering into the nostril, it will reach to our nasal cavity. Nasal cavity means the area. If you are pressing here, you can see the correct bone. The inner part of that area contain, or it is called nasal cavity. Okay, so first aromatic components means the substance responsible for the smell is called aromatic component. That aromatic components will dissolve in the air, means will be mixed with the air, and that particular air enter into nostrils. Then they will reach into the nasal cavity. Okay, the nasal cavity contain what? Contain mucus. Mucus means the fluid that will come out at the time of cold, common cold. That is what is called mucus. Then it will be there every time in the nasal cavity for getting the smell. It will be there in the nasal cavity. So the aromatic components first diffused were in the air, then that entered into nostril, that air reached into the nasal cavity, there it mixed with what? The mucus. Okay. When the aromatic components are mixed with the mucus, what will happen? Then the olfactory receptors are stimulated. Olfactory receptors are stimulated. When the receptors are stimulated, what will be there? Impulses are formed. Impulses are formed. Then impulses are carried to the brain by olfactory nerve. You can say so, or you can say related nerve, simply. Then it will be carried into the cerebrum, and cerebrum will give us the sense of what? Smell. That is the flow chart. Points are okay. Complete. This only. So once again I will say, first we have to remember the main point. The receptor in the nose is called olfactory receptor. Okay. Then nerve in the nose is called olfactory nerve. Olfactory receptor, olfactory nerve. Okay. Olfactory receptor and olfactory nerve. Then what is the first step by step I will say. Then the component responsible for smell is called aromatic component. Aromatic component will diffuse in the air. First point, diffuse in the air. then enter into the nostril and mix in the mucus of the nasal cavity. Clear? Now, first aromatic component diffuse or mix in the air and enter into the nostril. By joining you can say so. Then this aromatic component mix in the mucus of the nasal cavity. Mucus is present in the nasal cavity. There this component will be mixed. Then aromatic component will come in contact with the receptors and they are stimulated. Receptor means olfactory receptors are stimulated. Then impulses are generated. Impulses are carried to the brain by olfactory nerve. That name you study if you can. That is good. Olfactory nerve carry the impulse to the brain or cerebrum. Then cerebrum feel the sense of smell. That is the point. Okay. Yes, step by step you write first, then try to study. Then next part that we have to study is skin. Skin helps to detect 5 senses or 5 experiences. One is touch. Another one is temperature. Next is cold. One is pain. Then last one is pressure. These are the senses that we can detect. 1 minute. These 2 I will write here. That will be better. Pain. Then pressure. These are the 5 senses that we can detect through skin. For touch detection or to understand touch, there is a special receptor called touch receptors. Very easy to remember. For temperature, there is temperature receptors. For cold, there is cold receptors. Then for pain, there is pain receptor. For pressure, there is pressure receptor. Very easy, no? So, if there is a situation of pain, who will be stimulated? Pain receptors are stimulated. Then what will happen? Then when receptors are stimulated, impulses are generated. Clear? So, that impulses are generated, then that impulse will be carried to the brain by nerve. Then brain gives a sense of pain. Another one, when a body is touched with a cold material, what will happen? Cold receptors are stimulated. Then impulses are generated. Impulses are carried to the brain by nerve and brain gives the sense of cold. Simple. Temperature. When such situations are there, temperature receptors are stimulated. Impulses are generated. Impulses are carried to the brain by nerve. Then detection. Touch. Now look, I am touching my body, my skin. So when I touch here, what will happen? Touch receptors are stimulated. Then impulses are generated. Impulses are carried to the brain by nerve and I can detect what? The sense of touch. Pressure detection. You know, when we go to the area, there is pressure variations. You know, if you are able to swim, if you are going to the deeper part of the pond or river or lake, what will happen? From your ear, you can hear a tick tick sound. Or if you are going to a hilly region, what will happen? When you reach at the top of that hill, you know, that tick tick sound will be there. Sometimes a vomiting tendency will be there. That all things are because of pressure variation. At such or on such situations, what will happen? Pressure receptors are stimulated, impulses are generated, impulses are carried to the brain by related nerve. Okay. Yes. So, this is not so important. It is not at all asked for any examination. That's why leave it. Simply just read and leave. Next very important part that we are going to study is how the receptors work in other organisms. That is the next part. There are 4 organisms their receptor, their use. This points only there. So study very well. First, planaria. One organism, its receptor is called eye spot. Planaria eye spot. That is the what? Receptor of this particular organism. Eye spot. It is used for detection of light. Detection of light. That is the use of what? Eye spot in planaria. That also you have to study. So 3 point. Normally it is coming for the 3 point match, the 3 column match the following. No, there this question is repeatedly asked. So planaria, eye spot, hyphen, detection of light. Second, housefly. Omatidia. The receptor of the housefly is called Omatidia. Housefly, then honeybee, they are having Omatidia. Omatidia means it's just like our LED bulb. LED bulb, if you are just opening that cap, you can see many small bulbs will be there. When all these bulbs function together, it will give a fantastic light. Like that, the eye of what? The housefly and honeybee, it contains many small photoreceptors. When all these photoreceptors function together, they will get wonderful vision. That's why if you are trying to just beat a housefly, it will be escape. That much powerful sight is there for whom? Housefly, because of this Omatidia. So Omatidia is the photoreceptors in whom? Housefly. Okay. Or it is also called small eye. Like small bulbs form a big LED bulb, like that small eye of the housefly is called Omatidia, or it is photoreceptor. Here, so here detection of light, here photoreceptor. Third organism, shark. Shark, its receptor is lateral lines. Lateral lines means on the side of the body of the shark, there is a particular line, or on both sides there are lines. That lines, or the cells near to that lines, that help the shark to detect the changes in the equilibrium. You know, shark will be standing at the lower part of the sea. There may not be any wave or tide, so that area will be calm. Then, you know, shark is the cruel animal where in the sea or in the oceans. That's why when any organism move through the water, there will be a change in the balance or equilibrium. That can be detected by the lateral lines. So what we can write here? Detection, or to detect the changes in the equilibrium. To detect changes in the equilibrium. That is the function of lateral lines. Okay, last point, snake. Snake, its part is called Jacobson's organ. Jacobson's organ. That is the what? Receptor of snake. Jacobson's organ. You know, snake has no ears. That's why snake cannot hear anything. But you might have seen snakes bringing the tongue outside and inside continuously. When it brings the tongue outside, you know, on the top of the tongue there will be saliva. That saliva catch the particles of, or aromatic particles of the smell. Then when it take it inside, that tongue, top side of the tongue will come in contact with our uvula. Okay, there it contains some special cells or receptors. That area is called Jacobson's organ. It contains what? The olfactory receptors. So the Jacobson's organ of the snake contain olfactory receptors, means receptors for detecting the smell. Okay, so from the smell, snake can understand the danger and everything, and it can be escaped. Clear? So Jacobson's organ contain olfactory receptors. Olfactory receptors. Lateral lines to detect the variations in the balance or equilibrium. Ommatidia photoreceptors. Then this one, eye spot, that is to detect the what? Light. Detect light. So with this, our second chapter is completed. Then repeatedly watch this area, and in any video if you have doubt, you can watch it repeatedly. Then again, if the doubt is still pending, you can ask me, then I will clear your doubt. So study very well. Then after this, you have to check the exercise part of this chapter, and if there is any doubt, you can contact me. Try to do by yourself. Okay, thank you. Study very well.